Hi guys, thanks for joining me. I'm Jessica Lopez with Kadus Professional, and today we're going live for the Updo edit. So I'm super excited that you guys are here to check this out. Please comment below and let me know where you're tuning in from. And what we're gonna do today is I'm gonna show you guys some techniques about doing updos and special occasion styles, and also a color placement technique that's gonna give you the opportunity to enhance your look, especially for those clients that maybe haven't gotten color before. This is a really great opportunity to make them feel even more special on their day. So we're starting out with the already done updo because I wanted to show you guys what we were going for and how we were gonna make the look happen. So what I love about this, it's a messy updo, which is super on trend right now, and I'm gonna show you some techniques on how to make it messy but still professional. Because I know, we all know messy is kind of challenging sometimes. So I'll just take you guys through this. We just did some ponytails, pinned it back, and these lovely face framing pieces, I'm gonna show you how to create this great soft wave with the GHD Platinum Plus Styler. And let's get started. So I'm first gonna walk you guys through the color placement. So let's do that. So here's our other lovely model. And I designed this color placement technique with the updo in mind. So it's based off of triangles. I have some triangles here that open towards the face and some triangles here that open towards the crown. So this is gonna create some points of interest for the face framing pieces as in the corner of the triangles. So as you can see, I've foiled the rest of this, and I'm gonna show you guys what my foil pattern is. This is gonna be super important for the overall look because it's gonna create, as I said, those points of interest and give you some guidance when you actually go to style the updo. So I'm just gonna grab my products here. And how this technique works is on one flat side of the triangle, I'm gonna do a micro weave, and I'm gonna make sure I grab the hair right here, right by the hairline, because this is gonna be, like I said before, point of interest. So you wanna keep that in mind. Make sure and grab that first little piece. And I'm gonna micro weave it. And why I chose to micro weave versus baby lights is because I really wanna give the highs and lows. I want these gaps in here to soften the look. And a baby light, to me, is intended to blend away and just give soft, soft light. I want to do highs and lows. So that's why I chose the micro weave. And please, guys, ask any questions. I'm here to answer all questions, and I'm excited to talk to you guys. So what I'm using in the foils is Kadus True Blondes with 20 volume developer. And I'm just gonna apply here. I'm gonna kind of blend towards the root, make sure not creating any super harsh lines, but really make sure I'm getting towards that hairline. And apply all the way down, roots to ends, because this is gonna give some really nice pops of color throughout the style that you guys will get to see later. And again, you can use this technique and this placement with any level. Just adjust your developer to what your end goal is. I really wanted to see some highs and lows, and that's why I chose 20 volume. You can use it with our 6 volume developer or 13 volume, 30, depending on, again, where you're starting and all of that stuff, as we all know. So once this is nicely saturated, I am gonna double lock these. So I'm gonna fold it once, fold it twice, take my weaving comb and lock the corners. This part is super important for this technique, and I will tell you guys why in a few minutes. So once that weave is done, you're gonna take a slice section, still working on that same side of the triangle, and this one's gonna be a little bigger than your weave section because you are gonna do a teased slice here. And why I'm teasing it is to give diffusion at the root, to create a nice sweep of color back here, but nothing super bold at the hairline. So let me just clip this little guy away. And as I tease it, I'm gonna hold it from the very end so I really get the most amount of diffusion at the hairline. So again, this is totally custom for your client, for your style. tease as much or as little as you want to, but you really want to make sure that you create that buffer zone at the root. And we all know doll head hair, you know, you guys get it, you guys get it. So again, we're just going to place our foil. And a little tip that I like to do when I tease slice is to take my comb after the foil's in and just push that tease all the way to the root. Because we're teasing to diffuse, you want to make sure you get that product as close to the root as you can, because the teasing is going to give you that diffusion. So make sure that you get that product up close.
So Jessica, we have a question coming in from Janine. Hi Janine.
Hi Janine.
She wants to know, what level developer are you using? I think she just joined us. And more importantly, why do you use that 20 volume on your highlights?
So I am using 20 volume developer, and I chose 20 volume because I wanted 2 to 3 levels of lift at least. So again, it is just going to be personal preference for what you discuss with your client and during the consultation. I also use 20 volume to make sure I'm lifting through any unwanted tones, any pigment that I'm not really sure about in there, to make sure that I get a clean, even lift all the way through, because I am going to tone her after this. So make sure that it's fully saturated. But yes, that is why I use 20 volume. Thanks for your question. Keep them coming. And again, just making sure that you kind of get it as close as you can. But remembering with this tease slice, you have some cushion there. So don't be afraid, guys. Get in there. And again, we're going to go through, lock these foils up. So I did them back to back. So this is one side of the triangle. Why I did back to back was to create a bold piece, but both of these techniques create a soft color blend. So it's nothing that's going to be too harsh, but it is something that's going to give me contrast, which is what I want for this updo and for this look. So flipping the same section over, I'm going to work on the underside of the triangle, and I'm just going to do one, again, microweave. So clip all of this. Another reason why to lock up your foils for this technique specifically, it creates a really easy way to get the hair out of the way, because this foil's not moving, the hair in the clip's not moving, everything's nice and sturdy.
And Jessica, we have another question.
Yay!
How do you determine the size of the triangles?
Great question. So the size of the triangles are going to be determined by your client's hairline and face shape. So with my client, I was actually able to create some somewhat medium-sized triangles. She had a really good palette to work on. So the width of the triangles is really about the amount of depth I want to see throughout the section, because I'm going to be working on both sides of the triangle. So this is going to be colored and going to give me that depth. So if you have a wide triangle, you're going to have a lot of depth. If you have a narrow triangle, you're going to have slightly less depth. So that's really dependent on kind of what you want to do with your look. And I would say the darker the hair, the more narrow the triangle. Because if you have dark hair and you do really wide triangles, you might not get those points of interest and those pops where you want them in the updo. So definitely keep that in mind. Good question. So again, just saturating. And you are going to do this technique around the whole head. So sometimes, depending on how fast of a weaver you are, you can start with a lower volume and work your way up. What I did on our model was I actually just mixed up twice. So I did the same formula twice, so it was nice and fresh and it lifted evenly. So as you can see here, I continued to do the same pattern all the way throughout and created these pockets of depth. And I did it all the way. My last section is going to be back here behind the ear, because as we know with updos, they come back and sweep up. So I wanted at least some point of interest coming from here. So we foiled all of that, and I let her process for 20 minutes. But first, before I finished her, After all the foils were in, I wanted to do a base color on here. She had some previous color on and I just wanted to give her a nice clean palette. So what I did was I used 6N, equal parts 6N and 6G with 13 volume, which will help blend out any little grays that your clients have, and did it from roots to ends. That I let sit with the foils for 20 minutes. So that color that we put on all over is gonna give that great contrast and make sure all the tones are easy and even. So that's what we did on her. Super fantastic. So once you let her process and do the base color and the highlights and all of that jazz, I washed with Color Vibrancy shampoo and conditioner. And then a little Kadus pro tip. This is post-color treatment. With post-color treatment, it's designed to help seal the cuticle down, balance the pH of your hair, so when you apply your toner, it creates a nice, evenly balanced palette. So the toner is going to be the prettiest that it can be and add tons of shine. Another reason I like the post-color treatment is because it helps detangle any teasing or back combing that you do in your slices. So it really is like such a nice comb out at the bowl and at the chair. But this is super, super great and helps with all toning. So if you're just joining us now, I'm Jessica Lopez with Kadus Professional, and you can follow me at Jessica Lopez Hair. And we're doing the updo edit. So I'm showing you guys a color technique and an updo technique to keep you fresh for this updo season. So now, I just walked through the color technique and the foil placement and what I did at the bowl. And now we're gonna take a look at our model. So pretty, she's so pretty. So what we did with her color, I toned her with equal parts 6BB and 8BA. And I'm gonna have you turn a little bit that way for me. And as you can see, I just let it sit on long enough, about 5 minutes, just to give it some color and some shine. So this is the triangle placement. And as I pull this back, you can see where these points of interest pop out. So this is really what I was going for, because I wanted to be able to pull these back and pull some of these for our face framing. In the beginning, we started with showing you the finished updo, and it had some face framing pieces, which sometimes always used to intimidate me. But now with this color placement, I know exactly where to pull from to create that brightness and that lightness right around her face.
Jessica, if I can interrupt for 1 second. So
Sure.
Nicole has a great question. Going back to that post-treatment, is that like an additional add-on service, or do you do that with all of your clients after you've done a color application?
That is a great question. So I do that with all my color applications. You can choose to make it an add-on service. I just include it in my pricing because it allows the toner to really do what it's supposed to do. So I personally like to use it every time I tone, but you know, up to you. We're all running businesses here. So after I shampooed her and brushed her out, I prepped her with Kadus Velvet Oil, which leaves a great, nice shine and smoothness to the hair, and it also adds for heat protection. I also used about a baseball size amount of the Dramatize It mousse. And one quick tip I want to give with the mousse, and with any products when you're doing upstyling, is really use the product. Don't be shy with the product, because this is not like an in-salon service where they're going to wear the blowout for a couple days. Excuse me. You know they're going to go home and wash this. So it's okay to use the product and let it work for you. So that gave me all this nice bounce and shine. And let's see back here. So going on to the updo, I used 2 ponytails as her base. One ponytail is here and one ponytail is down here. So I'll show you guys my tuck and pin technique to allow me to get all of this hair up and tucked away. So moving to this next part, I started teasing. And I used Kadus Design It Hairspray. And you guys can get all of these amazing Kadus products at marlobeauty.com. So I started with about 1 inch wide sections, and I started teasing to build that base. As I worked towards the front, I teased less and less to make sure that I had a smooth foundation for her height. And as we all know, we gotta use this mirror to check, to make sure we're balanced, and really how much volume the client really wants to see. So I'll always kind of check with them. Sometimes they're nervous about like, oh, I don't want like big 80s prom hair. But everybody looks good with a little volume, especially on an updo or special occasion style, because you really need this look to look full 360. So even if they're a little shy about the height, I would recommend kind of leading them, because you know as the stylist what's going to work for their event. So once I have the height that I want, I'm just going to twist and hold that. I'm going to grab some bobby pins here. And I'm just going to hold my finger there, and I'm not going to open this first. Another quick tip. Try not to pre-open these, because they're designed to hold the amount of hair that the little lip allows. If you open them too wide, they're going to push back out, and you're going to lose your style. So just hold your finger there and push that bobby pin in.
Great question, Trisha. Jessica, do you have time for another question really quick?
Yes, please.
Are you using the ponytail holders as an anchor for the updo?
Yes. So I'm using it for an anchor, and so that she knows that she's secure. I am using it for an anchor, and I'm taking the pieces and twisting and pinning. So I'll show you guys that little technique right now. That was a great question. Thank you.
Thanks, Trisha.
Thanks, Trisha. So again, I'm using my Kadus Design It spray. And another tip, when you're using hairspray in an updo, I always like to use little short bursts. So I really make sure I get the hairspray and not just the aerosol that's in the can. On any hairspray, definitely a go-to. So, a little twist and pin trick. Take your bobby pin, slide it into your end piece, and then you can slide it and pin it right there. And so that is how I achieved all of this look down here. I just stuck the bobby pin in, twisted and pin it. Once it's pinned, you can go back and fan it out. And this is where it starts to get that messy, piecey look that we're loving. And you can just kind of direct the hair where you want it to go. Once it's in, I will spray it again. Kind of place the hair where I want to see it. And then again, using my mirror to make sure I'm checking balance and position. I kind of want to make this a little bit more piecey. Just widen that out.
So Jessica, one more question from Janine. Thanks,
Yeah.
Janine, for all your great questions. But do you have a special technique that you use just to kind of have the hair not get all knotted out, especially when you're going to rinse it from all that teasing?
Good question. Are you talking about when I'm coloring it and I'm teasing it,
No,
or during the style?
when you're back combing it.
So yes, one really good technique is make sure you have enough leave-in conditioner in the hair and the hair is soft when you start. I know traditionally it's kind of been seen as you want dry hair to create fullness, but the dryness really adds to the tangled. So, and also when you're teasing, use a teasing brush or a teasing comb designed for that. And you want to keep it to like 2, 3 teases the most. So just kind of slowly push it into the root. And then with these type of brushes, it's easy to kind of smooth out the front. So as I'm working towards the front, once I have all these twisted and pinned, I'm going to start building basically from this side and go up. So this is my next section. And I'm going to slide, same technique, just with a different piece. I'm going to slide my bobby pin in, take it around, and pin it exactly where I want to see that hair live. So I'm going to hold it with hairspray. And this is another technique, or another trick to create that messy technique look. So you're going to pinch it, and spray. And pinch it and spray. And you want to make sure that when you're building in texture or messiness, you do it with each section. Because you don't want to go back through once it's already pinned and overdo it. So definitely try and build your texture as you're going.
And Jessica, another question. I love all these questions.
Right?
Jessica, so the other question regards in the last one was with all that back combing and teasing that you actually do during the highlighting process, how do you make sure that when you wash out your client's hair that it's not all ratted up?
So, thank you. That is an amazing question. And that is another reason why I love the Kadus post-color treatment, because that smooths out the hair and calms that cuticle down, so you can actually brush through all that backcombing and teasing that you did for your highlights at the bowl. It's never been fun for me when I started doing the like back combing slices or teasing to then bring them back and feel like their hair is still tangled and kind of a mess. So with post color treatment, I'm really able to get all that out at the bowl before I even tone them. So where do we want this to live? I think over here. So definitely having those ponytails builds that base for me. So I know I'm pinning it into something solid and I don't have to worry about it.
Jessica?
Yes?
Trisha has a question.
Hi, Trisha.
Hi, would braided pieces be useful instead of teasing and pinning work?
Braided pieces, yes, they can be used as a great base to give you something that's solid and strong that you can pin into without teasing. It's kind of personal preference. I like the teasing because I know my clients can get it out, especially using a teasing tool. But really, it's personal preference. It's however we get the job done, you know? And if you guys are just tuning in now, I'm going to just mention her formula really quick. I used Kadus Lightener Truest Blondes with 20 volume in small triangles all around her hairline to create these great pops of color and some contrast in here. I toned her base color with 6N and 6B equal parts. And then toned her highlights with 6BB and 8BA just for a slight gloss. And then I brought her back and now we're starting to do this. Oh, I'm sorry. I also blew her out with Kadus Velvet Oil and Dramatize It Mousse. And if you're just joining us, you can find all of this information at marlobeauty.com. Whoops. And all of the information of the formula and technique will be right there for you. So again, just taking this, let's see, where do we want this to go? I'm going to cross it over here. Quick tip about the bobby pins. Make sure you have both sizes, the 2-inch and the 2.5, for the different size pieces. It really helps to make sure that all your pieces are secure and stay. So now that we have this kind of built in, and I'm going to come back to this at the end to finish it up, but I really want to talk about our front pieces, because this is kind of, you know, the focus. Hello, she has a beautiful face.
And while you're doing that piece, Jessica,
yeah,
Ashley just
yes.
Asked us a question and wants to know, how long have you been doing updos that you make it look so effortlessly?
Aw, Ashley. So I've been doing updos basically my entire career, so about 10 years. And I love doing them because it creates like a fun, creative and like situation with hair that I don't get to do day in, day out. So it's really fulfilling, and I like being able to give the client this experience of getting their hair done and feeling beautiful, because it's part of our job too. It's not just covering gray and doing highlights. So I do definitely love updos. So fun.
And speaking of updos, Jessica, I love these questions. So Nicole wants to know, any tips on securing an accessory or like a tiara?
Yeah. So with things like that, I always recommend that clients get something that has a comb backing in it, so that you can bobby pin the comb. So when you put the accessory in, say we wanted to add an accessory in over here, if we put it in, I want to make sure I have enough space to take a regular bobby pin, a 2-inch pin with the ribs, and pin it into place. So that will allow the client to feel confident and you as the stylist to feel confident that nothing's going to slip out. Good question.
And we have a couple people tuning in just now, want to know what volumes, if you can review, what volumes did you use on the lightener, her base color, and of course that toner?
So thank you, that's a great question. The lightener, I used 20 volume to create these really great pops of contrast. The base color, I used 13 volume to help blend away some gray and to give nice consistent depth. Her toner, I used 6 volume to just create a slight gloss. I really like what I lifted her to, and so the gloss just helped take it, you know, one step further. Good question. So right now I'm using my GHD Platinum Plus styler that is actually like a smart tool because it consistently stays at 365 the entire time you're using it, which is the optimum degree for hair health and safety, because nobody wants burnt hair. Come on now. So I'm just doing a quick curl, And I'll show you guys how I do the curl on the other side, because it really is very helpful and these curls stay forever. So when it comes to the front of the updo, I curl all these pieces to give me that little extra bend of wave. So I'm kind of loving how this is turning out, I'm not gonna lie. So I pin this where I want it to, or I place this where I want it to go. I'm seeing how it's gonna wanna fall. So I might actually bring this up a little bit. Again, always using my mirror to make sure that I'm staying, you know, consistent with the look. But again, I'm using my technique of pinning and twisting. So another benefit of this technique is all your bobby pins pretty much stay hidden, which I know can be challenging in the beginning of updos especially. Like, you want to put 1.5 million bobby pins, but you see all of them, and it's not cute, and it just doesn't go well.
Joyce has a quick question about all these great products that you're using,
yeah.
especially that GHD Platinum Plus.
Yeah.
Are they available online?
They are with Marlo Beauty, marlobeauty.com.
Awesome.
Yeah, man. The GHD tools are fantastic. They're my personal favorite. So we're just going to go in through here. And when it comes to this, this is really where we can get creative as stylists. Like, you can leave out as much as you want, as little as you want. With the color placement, it kind of shows you. I made sure to get right by her hairline on her part to create those pops of lightness right in through the front there. Super, super easy.
So Jessica, we know that you put color and did a great highlight on this model, but when you do a regular updo, do you prefer the hair to be clean or to be that one day dirty?
I personally always prefer clean. I honestly prefer damp, like just out of the shower, because I know that I'm the only one putting stuff in there, and that allows me to create the grit that I need. We have so many great products, especially with Kadus Professional, that I do not need them to come in one day dirty from whatever they decided to put in their hair. So I really like to know exactly what's in their hair and how to control that hair with the product I'm using. But I do know that that's a very common thing, and I just don't think it's necessary, especially with things like dry shampoo or our pomade. You really can create the grit that you want on your own. Good question, though.
You want another one?
Yeah.
So how do you inspire cosmetologists to get into doing these beautiful updos?
Honestly, I would say how I learned and how I got confident was assisting somebody that does a lot of weddings. That was my go-to because I could watch her and I could help her and I could jump in when I wanted to, but there was no pressure because I was the assistant. So find somebody that you know that does styling and wedding dos so that you can just watch. I mean, I learned a lot by watching. I know there's a lot online education, just like this amazing Facebook Live. So start looking, start practicing, you know, start telling your clients, let me do your hair for your thing. Oh, I think it'd be great if we did a little updo for that event. Get them excited about it, and it'll take kind of the pressure off of you because, you know, if they weren't even planning to get their hair done, they're going to love what you do regardless.
And how much time would you book out for an updo like this?
An updo like this without the color, just the style, probably an hour to an hour and a half, just to make sure I leave time so I don't feel rushed or hurried along in any way. So yeah, about that. It depends though, because if she had like hair down to her butt, I'm gonna need a little longer to get all that stuff back, you know? So it just kind of depends on your client and, you know, how they're coming in. If you're doing a blow dry before the updo, that's a whole thing too. So just take into consideration. But I would definitely say to be honest with yourself, because the worst is trying to finish an updo while your other client is staring you down. That's not fun. Nobody likes that. So now we're going to curl the other side. I'm going to show you guys my curling technique. So I'm just going to place it in, bend, and pull straight out. And due to the shape of the curling iron, it really creates these amazing soft waves, and I don't have to do very much at all. I love it. So yeah. Just to recap, if you guys are just tuning in, this is the Updo Edit, and I'm Jessica Lopez. You can find me at Jessica Lopez Hair on Instagram. And we are creating this amazing updo with a customized color technique to show some pops of color right through the front to give your client that extra special touch for their event. This is an updo that I love to do because it's very versatile for any type of event, and you can make it as fancy or as carefree as you'd like. So I'm picking the size of these sections just based on how much texture I want to see around the face. If I do one big curl, I'm not going to have as much texture as if I break it up into smaller pieces. So because of the color placement, I can see exactly where I want to show contrast and where I don't. So I'm going to pull this back so you guys can see. She has some great points of interest here, and this is the stuff that I want to pull down for face framing. I know in the beginning of my updo career it was kind of hard to decide which pieces go back. I've cut face framing layers after the updo was done. So having a color plan really helps you just know exactly what's going to come down, exactly what's going to go up. Kind of takes the guesswork out of it. So again, I'm just going to do my pinning technique. Really use that bobby pin to guide the hair, because that bobby pin is what's going to hold it. Your hand's not going to go in there for the whole night. That bobby pin's going to do that work. So don't overextend the bobby pins, and really make sure that when they're in there, they're in there. So I am loving this so far. I also love having a few hairpins. So hairpins are these little guys. I don't know if you can see that. So these are great for connecting spaces. And I didn't learn that until like way later. So right here I have a little bit of a gap. And so I just want to connect the spaces without losing the volume or the body. So I can just put a little hairpin. And they're kind of easy to disguise. And it just kind of connects the hair together. And since I know my bobby pins are secure, I can just tug a little bit, spray, and it's all gone. I love it. So again, checking the mirror, make sure there's balance. If you look at the mirror and it's slightly off in any way, because you know your bobby pins are in there securely, you can definitely go back and slightly pinch these hairs to get them up, and it's not going to ruin your whole style. Again, that's why using the right products as your base for your blowout and teasing the correct way is really going to help you in the long run, because as the hair starts to form into a style, you want to be able to move it and mold with it a little bit. I know I'm guilty of getting stuck on an idea and like not moving, and it's hair. That's never going to work. So making sure that you're liking it as you go, making sure your client's happy with it. Yay. And again, just taking the pins and kind of just pinning the hair where I want it to go. So once the front's basically done, I'm gonna touch these guys up. Is there any other questions out there? Anything anybody wants to know? I'm here on Facebook Live with Marlo Beauty. So again, just touching up these waves, making sure they're hitting on her face where I really want them to. And this is a perfect example of a great curl right around the face. So it's open around her eyes and comes in on her cheeks. So it just draws attention to her beautiful eyes and the makeup, and it hits right there. So it's not going to be too in the way, but it's definitely adding to her look to enhance her beauty, which is our whole job, right? So again, just slight little bursts of hairspray to make sure you're getting hairspray and not aerosol.
We have a question about the colors on the products you're using.
Okay.
One of our viewers actually noticed that there's purples and greens, and what do the colors mean?
So the colors mean level of hold. So the green color for the Design It spray is going to be your working hairspray. So this is something you can build upon, and it's not going to get crunchy or hard or too much. And the purple spray is like the finishing spray, the don't move shellacky spray. The end, you know. Good question. People are so observant. So nice. So I'm just going back through, pinning any little details that I see that I'm not in love with. I'm going to have you look down for me, lovely. So under here, I use a little hair tie here to grab all these loose ends. And I'm just tucking it under with a pin to make sure that this stays. Having the ends tucked in with a hair tie is a great tip, because you never have to worry about them spitting out. So even if they change their outfit or whatever happens, you know these ends are nice and secure because of the hair tie.
We have another question, Jessica.
Yeah.
Do you prefer to curl those front parts with the flat iron or with like a round curling iron?
Good question. So I personally love doing everything with my GHD styler. Little backstory, when I was in beauty school, it is right when the like professional flat irons just came out. So I learned how to do absolutely everything with a flat iron. So I love curling with it. I'm super comfortable curling with it. And I think it creates the softest type of waves. And I'm never concerned that it's too princessy or too much, because I know I can always like soften out the ends if I want to. But really, I would say use the tool that you feel most comfortable with, because it's your time and your money. So if you like using a curling iron, curl it up. So I'm super excited to show you guys this finished look. One last little tip is, if you want this to have a little bit more body and volume, because there's ponytails securing this, just go in and tighten that ponytail. And work these little buns so you can create a little more volume and texture. Hairspray any little details. And that is the updo edit. So thank you so much, Nude the Salon. I'm so excited for you guys having me. If you guys have any questions, please continue to comment. We will be there. We will answer any formula questions you have, any product questions you have, any GHD questions you have. This has been amazing. Thank you so much, everybody. I'm so excited. And again, I'm Jessica Lopez at Jessica Lopez Hair for Kadus Professional. Thanks, guys.